Hi, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is Into the Weekend with BetDSI, the call we do every Thursday with Brent, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook, where he gives us a little glimpse, a little overview of some of the notable sharp and public action that he's taken for the upcoming major sporting events of the weekend. Today is September 12th, so we are looking ahead to NFL Week 2, College Football Week 3, and we've also got the big Mayweather fight coming up on Saturday. Brent, thanks for doing the show with us once again.
Good to be back on, Peter.
All right, now let's move on to NFL Week 2, all right? Basically, the equivalent of like the Alvarez-Mayweather fight is Seattle at San Francisco, right? Biggest game probably of the first half. My guess on this game, huge public action, split. And has there been any sharp action? My guess is probably small sharp action, split, and not on the spreads, but on the money lines.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of sharp action on this one so far, Peter. This fight, if you want to call it, the big battle, San Francisco at Seattle. Right now, we're sitting Seattle -3. The dog is -120. The count and volume are pretty much about 2-1 actually in favor of San Francisco.
Is the action as big as I would guess it would be? Like everyone betting the game?
It's very big, yeah. Right. It's a big game. Denver and the Giants are another really big game so far.
That's the other game that I wanted to ask you about because this, to me, is the most interesting line of the week. The Giants, of course, about a 5-point home underdog. And when I look at this game, I'm a little bit confused by it. And I'm thinking, like, I bet you there's a lot of sharp opinions on it, but I cannot guess what those opinions might be.
Right now, so far, I mean, it's just a whole lot of count in favor of Denver. I don't know if sharps are sitting back and seeing what they're going to do, and maybe get Giants as a home dog more than 4.5 where we are right now. Denver's obviously, in terms of the public opinion and everything, is looking really, really good right now, where the Giants look terrible. But our count is about 4-1, in favor of Denver. The money's about 2-1 in favor of Denver. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have to go to 5. We'll get a little bit money back, even though it's not necessarily a key number. I think that might be all it takes to attract Giants money.
But pretty clearly, the public is favoring Denver, and regardless of the sharp action that you get, you're probably going to be needing the Giants in that one, right?
Denver and over, yeah.
Right. All right, and then another side with a similar road favorite that I also assume the public is all over is New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I have to assume that the public is at least somewhat significantly favoring New Orleans. And sharps on Tampa Bay, I don't know. I'm sensing probably not. Is that correct?
Unfortunately, we got the public all over New Orleans. I got sharp money all over New Orleans, and
really?
We're going to be sitting back on Sunday needing Tampa Bay to be strong at home. The sharps that did come in on New Orleans, they played the money line -155, and they played New Orleans when it was -3, -05. Now, the case right now with all the public money that's tailed that, we're sitting with New Orleans -3, -115, Peter.
So that doesn't make you nervous that...
Yeah, honestly, like right now, in terms of the count, it's about 10-1 right now, so that's just a massive chart for us.
Wow. All right. So if New Orleans covers, that's going to be a big loss for you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another thing that makes me, when I look over this card, makes me a little bit nervous for you guys is it seems like there's going to be a lot of big public teaser sides this week. I'm assuming Philly, Houston, Packers, and probably the Bengals are all going to be huge public teaser sides. I'm assuming you're going to get hit with a ton of action on those. Maybe Baltimore and Atlanta as well. First of all, is that true? And second of all, if it is, how bad will that be for you if all those sides hit?
Yeah, you're pretty much bang on there. I mean, right. Philadelphia, just the count is about 5-1 in favor of them. Baltimore's about 5-1, same case. Houston's not too bad. Houston, we're pretty much balanced. I guess the bettors are respecting Tennessee. We've got actually some sharp money on Tennessee. Maybe we can touch on later on. But we're pretty much balanced on the chart for the Houston game. But Atlanta is a teaser team. Again, about the count's like 8-1 there, which is really, really big. And Green Bay's getting a lot of support from the public. Count about 3-1 in their favor as well.
And then let's get to Cincinnati. That's a Cincinnati Monday night at Pitt, and I'm assuming that's going to be a one-way action game for you, sharps and the public on it. I can't imagine that anyone at all, sharps or public, is betting Pitt. Is that true?
No, the only sharp action I have on the game is the under 41, and I mean it could get ugly. That means the count in that game right now is about 5-1 in favor of Cincinnati. The money is about 10-1 at this point. So I could obviously see that line creeping up to 7 flat, maybe 7 favor 15. Again, if it got to that point, you may see sharps come in and take Pittsburgh buying a half point to plus 7.5. But again, it's just kind of wait and see.
All right, and then the only other game that I want to ask about, St. Louis, Atlanta. When I saw this line at the beginning of the week, I guessed that there was going to be sharp action coming in on St. Louis plus 7, and based on the way the line has moved, I'm assuming that is the case. Is that true?
Yeah, it's money we respect on St. Louis. Yeah, not a ton of it yet. That's why we're sitting at around 6.5, maybe 6 right now. The count and the money is in favor of Atlanta. The count for them was like 8-1. The money's about 4-1. So when the count's like 8-1 and the money about 4-1, you know that there has been some bigger bets coming in on St. Louis, and that is the case, Peter. Again, that we could see a lot of movement on this line as we get closer to Sunday. If the sharps don't come in taking St. Louis plus the 6 and 6.5, it might creep up because there's a lot of money in terms of the count on Atlanta. That game is one where we've got the attractive public and sharp splits on the total. Actually, Peter, a lot of public money on the over, which is no surprise, and the sharps came in under 47.5 on that one, that St. Louis Atlanta game. Right now we're at 47.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me because Atlanta was actually a pretty strong under-trending team last year, despite their big names on offense. And so when the line moved down from 7 to 6.5, you didn't get any sharps immediately jumping on it at 6.5.
No, not yet. And again, we took decent bets on St. Louis, but not the kind that we're going to move all the way down on yet. And again, with the count being what it is, if everyone's going to lay the 6 and 6.5 on Atlanta, and your smaller sharps are coming in on St. Louis at this point, not hitting you too hard, you kind of sit there and wait and balance it off. Again, just the count will overwhelm you in terms of Atlanta, and you're sitting there needing the sharps to win.
Well, that to me sounds pretty telling. It sounds to me like St. Louis might have some small value as such a big underdog there. All right, is there any other notable public or sharp action that you've seen this week that you would like to share with us on a side or a total?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that the sharps were kind of dabbling on Tennessee there. I know Tennessee was a big upset team last week, and they did us a favor by taking care of Pittsburgh. Sharps who did play Tennessee, they did buy the half point to +10, but the sharps were on there. That's why our count really hasn't gotten away from us. We actually are completely balanced on the Houston-Tennessee game there. Carolina at Buffalo is an interesting game because I do have sharp money on Buffalo plus the 3. We've actually got probably about 2-1 money in favor of Buffalo because it's sharp money and the count's kind of even. So that's a bit of a split there. We've got public money on Carolina and the sharps on Buffalo. Again, that's one we kind of look for, a home dog catching 3 points. Carolina on the road, that's a decent position for us, I think, and come Sunday, we'll be happy if we need Buffalo at home.